You're going to bring the heat today.
As the leader of the Booner pack, I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juices pumping, boys. All right, welcome in. Crunchtime Sports, baby, with Jeff Iafrate, Booner, Lukas Klotz, Michael Gentry. Yes, we are not currently live right now. Pre-recorded little video here I wanted to do for the people here to put a little premiere on. I know we mentioned it. We would be live Monday night. Things came up. Things are happening. We are not live, but I said I'm going to do this for the people. I want to make sure you guys have something here. We're going to try and maybe do, I don't know how long this will go for. Dan Campbell spoke with the media today, so I wanted to come and talk to the people about that, what Dan Campbell had to say to the people. It is game week for the Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions versus the Los Angeles Rams at Ford Field. Sunday night football. It is officially less than a week out of Detroit Lions football being back. Until in less than a week, I will be able to drink some Kool-Aid. I will be able to celebrate with the people of Detroit. We'll be downtown for all of that. It'll be the first time I'm doing Kool-Aid videos downtown with the people, especially for a home game versus the Los Angeles Rams. Maybe we'll run into Kelly Stafford while I'm doing a Kool-Aid video. Who knows? But we have a big week ahead of us, so I wanted to talk to the people. I wanted to do something for you guys. You guys are probably, hopefully we have some people in the chat right now while this is premiering, while this is going. People comment. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, all of that. Make sure you do it all. I'm going to break down some of this stuff, though, heading into the game week. We're going to be back tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We will be Saturday down at Michigan, Texas for the Michigan game, doing some different sponsor stuff and different deals down there. So if you guys are in Ann Arbor on Saturday, come find us for pre-games and stuff and during the game. And then Sunday we'll be live downtown pre-game show, watch party, post-game show, all of that. The details will come out hopefully, and my guess, by Wednesday or Thursday, maybe Friday, who knows. We'll make sure we have the details out for that so that people can come stop by and hang out with us, listen to the live show. Maybe we'll have some people on the show as well. But we do have a lot of guests lined up this week. Want to start it off today. This is what we're going to talk about. This is what I'm going to do here. Let me turn the music down here a little. Let me see if I can fade this out. I don't know how. Fade it out. There we go. I know I've got some magic here. Now, this is what we're going to talk about today, though. Obviously, Dan Campbell spoke with the media today. I had no clue he was speaking with the media. I don't think we did. We were going to be live tonight, but since we have decided we are going to just do this, I wanted to share some videos. I clipped up some videos of what Dan Campbell had to talk about. Dan had spoke about Super Bowl expectations, Jared Goff, the Detroit Lions defensive line with Levi Onwuzurike, some injuries heading into Sunday, and kind of expectations for the season too, which was interesting because this has been, honestly, what he spoke about today was a lot of the things that we spoke about, not just us, you guys as fans and kind of the fan base of the Detroit Lions has spoke about all offseason long. Today he spoke about it, and they are getting prepared for a massive game on Sunday. Huge game. I don't know if you guys saw this as well, and I'll share this with the people. The Detroit Lions did release this. They released this picture on their Instagram yesterday that said game mode on with the all black unis. If you guys didn't see it, obviously the new uniforms came out this year, and we had a conversation last week, and we actually spoke. We put a poll in the chat. A lot of people wanted the blueberries on Sunday night. Looks like they might be going all black with the new blue helmets on Sunday night. I'm not gonna lie, I don't hate it. I said if they did all black and they re-released the new uniforms on Sunday Night Football versus the Los Angeles Rams, I am all in on that. I am all in on it. Like, just to bring that back and go out there and beat Matthew Stafford, who, mind you, wore the all blacks. He wore the blacks when he was here. I think it would be sick to debut it and go out there and win a game. I don't think what you wear, if it's the blacks or the blueberries, I don't think either one's going to deter whether the Detroit Lions win the game Sunday. I think that's going to be on the Lions and the fan base, because they're going to show up. The 12th man will be alive. I've been calling it the 12th man. I don't know if people like it or not, but this is the new 12th man in the NFL, is the Detroit Lions fan base. But yeah, the all blacks, I'm all in for that. And you know what, too? I want to share one more thing here. I want to pull something up for the people. Let me pull something up for the people. Let me do this, because I saw this video today, and shout out Nolan Bianchi. Does a great job. he had posted this video of Ford Field. Now, I think this was the divisional game versus the Tampa Bay Bucks. But this gives like a sneak peek of what it's going to be like on Sunday night, prime time, standalone game at Ford Field. Just watch this. This is unbelievable. I mean, that's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. That's Ford Field for you guys. I don't know who's all going. If anyone's in the chat going, drop it in there. We're going to be downtown live, but it just gets me pumped up that it's finally game week versus the Los Angeles Rams, Matthew Stafford, all of that, everything going into it. And the one thing, this is what I'm going to say to the people today. The one thing that everyone's been talking about all offseason long has been the Super Bowl and Super Bowl and Super Bowl. Dan Campbell addressed it today. He's talked about it a little bit, not in depth throughout the offseason. We've heard a lot of Detroit Lions players come out and talk about the Super Bowl when asked, hey, expectations, tell us your expectations. It has been nothing short of, hey, Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl. And we had a conversation last week on Crunchtime here on our live show that had mentioned the part of it was essentially do the Lions have the most pressure out of any team in the NFL? And I had mentioned, I know some Klotz and Jeff said, no, there's other teams. And I had mentioned, hey, there is a lot of pressure. Like when you have Super Bowl pressure, you're probably top 5 in the NFL at pressure. You're up there with all these other Super Bowl teams. Like that's the most pressure. I know there's teams that are out there with and coaches and players who are like, hey, might be the end of your career. That's a lot of pressure. But essentially, like when you're a team like the Detroit Lions who has not won a Super Bowl ever, has never played in a Super Bowl, and you are a Super Bowl favorite, top 3 Super Bowl favorite, and everyone in the city, and I said this, like not just the city, completely America, like the world. Anyone who's doesn't have a team to root for, they're rooting for the Detroit Lions this year. And that is where, to me, the pressure came in. And I think Dan, and I'm not to say Dan doesn't want the pressure or anything. I said Dan can handle the pressure. Like Dan Campbell is the one guy in the whole NFL outside of maybe Andy Reid, who I know can handle the pressure of Super Bowl expectations in a city like Detroit, who has never had it. So like I'm very, very confident Dan Campbell can handle it. It's just more so to me, Dan Campbell being able to find a way to handle it is like, hey, let's stop talking about this. Let's take a step back. Because the last few years, remember when the Lions started, I think it was 1-6, and then finished 8-2 or whatever the kind of that transformation was. The one thing that he kept saying was one day at a time, fellas, 1 week at a time. Let's just win the next game. Let's win the next game. Just the next game. And all offseason long, all it's been is the whole season. It's been Super Bowl, Super Bowl. Dan Campbell came out today. And just like I said last week, Dan's going to find a way to relieve this pressure and get these guys ready to go. So the pressure doesn't feel like it's there. And that's Dan Campbell coming in come week 1, Monday morning of game week, the very first game week in the NFL 2024 season. Dan Campbell comes in and says, 1 game at a time. That's all that matters. And I don't know if you guys remember when we had talked about expectations and everything this year, the one thing that I said is, hey, you need to start looking at seeding, Lions fans. Like that was one thing to where I was like, hey, what are the biggest games throughout the season? What are the biggest games? Well, the biggest game to me are the teams that are fighting for the 1 seed, the 2 seed. And essentially that was what Dan said today. He came out and he said, all right, there's a couple things, like he was like, we need to go 1 week at a time. We can't just look at Super Bowl in February, or we might not make it there if that's all we're looking at. We need to look at 1, winning the division, making sure that we're playing in Ford Field come January. We need to be playing in Ford Field come January. Number 2, when we play a team like the Los Angeles Rams, who's not in the division, you need to start thinking about seeding, head-to-head matchups. Like that was why I brought up the 49ers game a while ago, because I thought that's a team that's going to be contending for a 1 seed in the NFC. It's like, hey, head-to-head matchups really matter, especially if you're looking to, and my expectation is the division minimum. So I think the 1 seed is like, hey, that's what we're shooting for. Last year it was, let's win the division and get this thing out of the way. And this year it's, hey, let's go get the 1 seed so you have the easiest path to the Super Bowl. And that was what Dan said. He was like, what gives you the best chance to go win games? And I'll play the video here. But he said, as you go through these weeks, it's 1 week at a time. You have to look at this week. Like, hey, this week's this is a playoff team you're playing, the Rams. This could affect your seeding down the line. When you look at head-to-head matchups, if you're division winner and say somehow the Rams win their division somehow, some way. It's going to depend if you're a 2, 3, 4 seed, like how it goes like that. Or you say you don't win a division and the Rams are there in a wild card, and the Rams get a better matchup than you because you had to go down. Like these are big time matchups. And Dan Campbell said it. Here's Dan Campbell. Let me pull it up here for you guys have it. But here's Dan Campbell just talking about Super Bowl expectations. And just listen to the beginning of this video, guys. I know some of you guys probably watching, I've already heard this, but just listen to the beginning of this video.
Or what?
No, well, it's funny because I just told the team, let's not talk about it anymore. Yeah. Well, no, and it's just this. Of course we do. Who doesn't, right? And yes, we do. But we're to the point now where that doesn't even matter anymore. Like, what does that do? It does nothing. Now it's about the steps to get to there. And the steps are you better win your division because you get a home game. And then once you get a home game, now it's about seeding, right? And you win these head-to-heads, now all of a sudden you're the 3 seed, you're the 2 seed, maybe you're the 1 seed. So we got to win division, man. And so it starts with this first game, NFC opponent who could win the West at the end of this year. You win a head-to-head. So it's all about now what gives you the best odds. That's so far down the road now. So now it's about setting yourself up for that. And how do you do that? Well, it's like we said, it starts with game one, NFC opponent, really good opponent who I think is going to be staring at all of us in the playoffs at the end of this year too. So that's it. You find a way to win your division again.
That's it, baby. That's it. Literally, the thing that kind of stands out to me is at the beginning they asked him, "Hey, how do you tell you?" And he said, "I literally just came out of the meeting with the players. It said, let's not talk about it anymore. We're done with the Super Bowl talk. It's one game, 1 week at a time." I love it. And he said here, I wrote it down. What gives you the best odds to win? That's something. And this is where people always ask me, Booner, what's the Booner path? What you came up? And then there's people in the comments, oh, it's nothing. It's whatever happens. That's the Booner. No, the Booner path, like last year, was what gives you the best odds to go win a Super Bowl. And last year, to me, like the path to go do that, to get to the NFC Championship game, like last year, it was the NFC Championship game. It was, how can we get to the NFC Championship game? And for me, it was the best way to do it is go get the 2 seed, because the 1 seed at that time, no one was really talking about it. It was out of the picture. It said, hey, go get the 2 seed, because then essentially you're playing 2 games at home no matter what. Like you're playing in the wild card at home and you're playing in the divisional at home. And that gives you a chance to win at home. You're not going to lose at Ford Field. Now you're sitting in the NFC Championship game with the chance, whether you go on the road or not, a chance to go to a Super Bowl. Like that's what the Booner path was last year, is how do we get to the NFC Championship game with being 1 game removed from the Super Bowl and having a chance to win that. And they were up 17, like just to give you a chance to get to the final game and go win a Lombardi trophy. And that was the Booner path that time. This year, it has switched, obviously, the Booner path and these guys' expectations and the fans' expectations is to go win a Super Bowl. All right, so what gives you the best odds to do it? And that's what Dan Campbell's looking at here. Obviously, he's not going to go out 18 weeks ahead, 19 weeks ahead and be like, all right, we have to go win the Super Bowl. No, he's going to break it down. All right, what's giving us the best chance to go do that? And to me, it's obviously you win your division, so you know you have a home game. But number 2, it's seeding. It's getting that number 1 seed. You are now with the 49ers level. You have to go out and get the number 1 seed. And that's, to me, what Nan's saying is these head-to-head matchups are going to come and be big time. Like that 49ers game is going to be massive. The Rams game, a team that's going to be in the playoffs, massive. The Cowboys, a potential playoff team, massive. Like these games are bigger than people expect. And that's why I think like being at home and everything, I think that's going to be massive for the Lions. So I'll say this, it's just an interesting thing that Dan mentioned that today, because I think it's like the fact that he had mentioned that come day 1, essentially, of the regular season, the Monday of game week, and they're out there getting prepared right now. He's spot on, and everyone should look at that and be like, yep, Dan Campbell, what gives you the best odds? Just go win this football game 1 week at a time. That's all. I'm going to start looking at the season now. I know we're going to have all these games ahead. We should all look at the season 1 week at a time. Let's just go beat the Rams, because then if things start happening, you don't want it to all get ahead of us, and that's when your team starts dropping games, and we don't need that. I don't think any of us need that. All right, next thing here today that he talked about, we're just going to go through a lot of the Dan Campbell press conference stuff. The next thing that he had spoken about is someone asked him about Jared Goff and the expectation for Jared Goff this year. And this is a conversation. We talk about Jared Goff all the time on our show. He's the quarterback of the football team. So we talk about him all the time. But the expectation and hey, what do they expect out of him? What do they think he can do? A lot of people have this argument like, oh, can Jared Goff actually win it for you? Oh, you need the pieces around and like easy. Oh, you need him under 12%. All of this different things. And for me, it's more so it's like, hey, Jared Goff just keeps getting better year after year. This kid has improved. Every single year, he just keeps getting better and better and better. And that's why this year I had mentioned one of my bold takes and bold predictions was Jared Goff to be a finalist for the MVP award, top 5 and be in Vegas or wherever they are in LA, wherever they do the NFL awards. And you have Jared Goff sitting there and maybe not win the award, but he's going to be the head. He's going to be on the number 1 team in the NFL. He's going to have some of the best top 3 numbers out of all quarterbacks in the NFL. And he's going to be the leader of the football team, whether you have the pieces around him or not. Like, look at Brock Purdy last year. Like, that's just the way it works when you have a quarterback who essentially is that. So let me bring this in. This is Dan on Jared Goff. And he had talked about it kind of in depth a little bit on not numbers wise or anything, but essentially like what their expectations are for Jared Goff and can he get better and all of that. Because that's been the question. Like, can Jared Goff keep getting better? So here's Dan Campbell on that.
We have pieces around him on offense. It's why we play with the defense. It's why we play with special teams. So said this before, we can get out of any game we need to with
let me restart it here. Start at the back.
I think he's been everything that we hoped he would be and then some. I mean, really, he's I think what he brought was at the least he brought just a stable piece for us, a steady, reliable guy who, behind center is going to do what we ask him to do, man. We take care of him. He'll take care of the football. He's going to move it. He'll be efficient, and he'll be our captain, and that's at the least. And what we got was so much more. So we got that. And through the years, these last 3 years, he's just continued to grow and gotten better and gotten better. And honestly, I think he just wants more, and he continues to challenge himself. And the more he does that, the more we load him up, the more we ask him to do, the more we put on his plate because he can handle it and he wants it. And so, man, where he's able to go, our offense is able to go. And so we ask him to do a lot, and we're going to ask him to do a little bit more than he did last year because he can handle it. He's proven that. So, listen, he's playing at a high level, and he also knows he didn't have to do this all on his own. That's why we have pieces around him on offense. It's why we play with the defense. It's why we play with special teams. So said this before, we can get out of any game we need to with those units. As long as the other two are clicking, if one has a rough one, that's all right, man. We'll find our way out of that. And so we use everything we have on our roster.
So I love what he says about Jared Goff. I don't know where you guys are at with this. It's just the thing with Jared Goff. They can give him any, like I said before, this guy just gets better. You could trust Jared Goff. And the people who put him, this was the conversation we had last week of the people who think that Jared Goff can't win you football games, or maybe he's very far away from that elite level. Like Dan Orlovsky did the top, his elite quarterbacks in the NFL. He had guys like Brock Purdy on there. He had essentially, I think he had 9 quarterbacks on there, and Jared Goff was not on the list. I think there is a stigma or something in people's minds with Jared Goff to where, yeah, and Dan said it there a little bit, like you do need other pieces around, you have to create a full team. But he said there, Jared just keeps getting better, and he just wants to keep adding more to his game. And when he adds more, he keeps getting better. And he did it this offseason. He added so much more to his game, and he's improved a ton. The thing that I think about is that they said they're going to ask him to do a lot more this year. That's the argument that I've been making this offseason. Is there, like, we saw at training camp, we were there with Easy, me and Jeff were there. At training camp, we saw some of the throws he was making, and it's not that he was actually making the throw like that he was connecting on them, and it was like, this looks unbelievable. It was that it felt like he might have been trying different throws that you didn't see Jared Goff want to throw the last few years here in Detroit. And you're starting to see him make plays that maybe he didn't even try and make before. And his confidence is building, going to NFC Championship game. being top 5 in all these categories in the NFL. And he knows how good he can be. And he has gotten better. He has the team around him. He has Ben Johnson. So for me, when I look at it, I'm like, hey, they're asking him to do more. This guy's only going to get better. He is top 5 in almost every quarterback category last season, and they're asking him to do more for this football team and put on more on his back, and he's embracing it and getting better. I don't see how you look at it and be like, oh, yeah, Jared Goff's not going to have a better season. No, he's going to be an absolute dog this season. Like, they're going to be the best team in the NFL, and he has Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Sam Laporta, Isaiah Williams now, Tim Patrick now. Like, you can add so many pieces around him, the best offensive line in the entire NFL. So I just don't see how, there's people out there that are still questioning, like, could Jared be that guy for us? Can he do it? So that's where, to me, a little bit, hold up a All right, I think I'm back here. We are back. All right, we are back. But the thing with Jared Goff, though, it just seems more so where it's just like, hey, let the man go out there. He's going to go out there and compete, and he's going to go out there and be dominant either way. And I think it's going to be in a higher level this year. So there's going to be people just like last year when I had spoke about the Booner path and said they're going to the NFC Championship game. There was a lot of people who laughed at me, who said, "Oh, Booner, you don't know what you're talking about. Booner, you're just a slappy." It was all right. Let's wait. We waited, and it happened. And then they had to backtrack a little. Maybe they tried to move around goalposts so they didn't have to say I was right. I think it's going to be the same thing with Jared Goff this year. A lot of people are going to look at it and be like, "Oh, yeah, Booner's not going to be right." Just wait and see. Just wait. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So just wait for the Jared Goff. The other thing that they talked about, and I have 2 videos actually for this one. I think this is what a lot of people have questioned. And we last week we did a segment, and I can't remember the exact name of the segment, but we did a segment, and it was essentially, hey, what is the most questionable part of the football team? Like, what are you looking for from the jump that's going to make or break, like whether it's the offense or the defense? And to me, it was the defensive line, this edge room opposite Aiden Hutchinson. And then obviously week 1, Broderick Martin goes on IR. Now, DJ Reader, I think he's playing. We'll get into it later, but there were some injury reports, and it sounded like with the injury reports that maybe you're going to see DJ Reader. But even then, coming off an injury, Dan Campbell was asked about the D-line group today, and he was also specifically asked about Levi Onwuzurike. And that's kind of where I want to go with this is I think this is going to be a make or break situation here with the Lions, because Levi, Josh Pascal, obviously you have Mekhi Wingo, James Houston coming off the injury, Marcus Davenport coming off, a few injured seasons. That's who you're rolling with. And to me, it's like either they're going to be a really good defensive line because of those guys that they have and they can stay healthy and just all be absolute dogs, or there's going to be injuries and they're going to struggle and things are going to happen. And you're going to be like, all right, this is probably the weakest group of the Detroit Lions defense. Dan spoke about it a little bit. And by Dan Campbell's, and you guys know I do this all the time, I say I always listen to Dan Campbell. Always do. What Dan Campbell says, I listen to. Maybe he's tricked me a couple times with the Hendon Hooker and Nate Sudfeld thing. But I listen to this man, and what he mentioned about the D-line group gives me a little faith that, hey, maybe this is where we're going to be good here. Because if Dan Campbell has faith in these guys, I think we should all, and we need to at least see how this works on Sunday night. And especially the biggest thing of all of this, guys, is their first battle and their first test is versus Kyren Williams, Blake Corum, who I think is going to be a great NFL running back, but Kyren Williams, first team All-Pro, versus Matthew Stafford, one of the most elusive and best quarterbacks in the entire NFL that we saw last year at home in the playoffs, what he can do. And we saw for 10 plus years what Matthew Stafford can do. So like, this is a test for this defensive line, like instantly a test. 2 running backs, an all-pro running back, and one of the best quarterbacks in the entire NFL. This is what Dan had mentioned. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this video, and then we'll follow it up with the Levi Onwuzurike video, because he was asked about Levi O, and they had brought up some stuff about Levi O. So here's the defensive line video, and I'll follow it up in a second here with him on Levi Onwuzurike heading into the season.
Yeah, I mean, look, our D line is going to be important, but we feel pretty good. I mean, we've got, you know, I mean, we feel like we're the best we've been in many years here, you know, with Pascal and you know, and obviously Mac and Levi and our young buck, you know, who we got. You know, we feel like we have some options here, but yeah, we're not. Listen, a move can be made here. I mean, we're open to whatever that's going to give us the best chance to have success. And yes, you are going to need it against the Rams. I mean, this is a, you know, I said this last year when we got ready to play them. Man, they changed their style and they started having success. You know, they altered a little bit of what they do and went out of traditionally the way that you know Coach McVay's played it over there, and it was really good for them. And there's a little bit more of a downhill approach and take some hits off of Stafford, let him do what he does best, and it's a winning recipe. So yeah, we're going to be tested. You know, they're going to try to test us, and so absolutely, we're going to need to be beefed up, ready to go up front.
That's I think honestly, guys, he said that like I think Dan Campbell believes too. And I'm gonna be in the chat too while this is all premiering. I'm gonna be in here. I'm interested to see if like I think this is the biggest, and it might be one of my biggest and like number one thing this Sunday going into there to keep an eye on is the defensive line. Like how do they respond from last year and how do they respond with the new guys that are in there? Levi, I'm gonna keep a very close eye on this year because I think he could be a game breaker for the Detroit Lions, in the Lions defensive line. It's just I said it the other day. We keep hearing about the Levi O thing. I was one of the people 2 months ago that said, keep an eye on Levi O. He is going to break through. The news and the reports were that Levi O is starting to look better a couple months ago. And as the months have come by, I kept being told by people, hey, Booner, eventually it's going to give up. He's going to be on the roster bubble. He might not make. And then all of a sudden, guess what? No one's talking about Levi O because he didn't have to play in preseason games because he was locked in. So he's going to be a big piece in this too. Listen to what Dan Campbell had to say about Levi Onwuzurike, because especially at the end of it too, like Dan has a lot of faith in him. I think this is where the fans and people should start kind of turning a little bit and saying, hey, Levi O might be a piece here on this football team that we're going to have to really keep an eye on, and that's going to actually produce alongside the DJ Readers, the Aleem McNeils, the Aiden Hutchinsons, the Marcus Davenports. You're going to see those four guys, and the fifth guy there, guess who it's going to be? Levi Onwuzurike. Here's Dan Campbell on Levi Onwuzurike.
It helps you out with that pass rush.
Yeah, look, Levi's had this has been since spring. He came in and he clearly looked better. He looked healthy. He's big, he's strong. And then training camp with pads, you know, whatever this has been, 30 days, hard, heavy work, live days, you know, you name it. And there's no indication that this is not holding up. And he looks just as strong and powerful as ever. And so I think it's here to stay, you know, and so nothing's going to tell me that it's not. And that's really been the holdback is, you know, his body, trusting his body. And then once his body, hey, my body's going to hold up. Now he's been able to bank the reps, right? And so he's continued to grow and get better as a football player because now he's got everything that God gave him, he can use. And so he's in a good place right now. And yeah, I think he's very much going to be a part of this. I think he's one of those pieces I think of when it comes time to closing the pocket down on the quarterback. I think he's one of those guys. I really do.
The end there, that was what I was talking about at the end. He's going to be one of the main guys to close the pocket up and actually produce here on this team. I don't know. I just think the thing with Levi is you hear coaches sometimes here and there boost players up. Hey, he's been looking good. He's been looking good. It's been a consistent thing since when did they start mini camp? April, June. Since then, it's been a consistent thing with Levi O. And we're going to finally get to see it on Sunday night. We didn't get to see it in the preseason because he was a lock on the football team, and he's going to be starting most likely come Sunday if there's no DJ Reader. But it's just, to me, it's like we're finally going to see this. And I had mentioned I think Levi was going to be a big piece on this D line. Last year, I was very critical of the Accor brothers and that D line that they kept bringing in Bruce Irvin and all these random guys. And finally, I just kept saying, we just need to improve this D line. And there are times, and you can make an argument, maybe they didn't improve it like you wanted to. And I've made that argument, wanting to bring in free agents, wanting to trade for people, Matthew Judon, bringing a guy like him in. And like, I've been very vocal on that because I've wanted this D line to be able to produce with those linebackers you have, the safety room that you have, the corner room now you have, and you have Aiden Hutchinson, but behind Aiden Hutchinson and Aleem and DJ, but like outside of that with the other edge, you're sitting there and you're like, all right, we've been waiting for someone to step up. And I hope, and I've been waiting to say that too, is I hope James Houston, and I think he will. I think James Houston, I know I said he was on the roster bubble, but all I said, I just wanted James Houston last Saturday to show us something. So then we could say, yep, he's in. We need to make sure James Houston is still James Houston. James Houston confirmed is still James Houston, what we saw last week. He could still get after the quarterback. I got to see it with my own eyes last Saturday. It was a while. I haven't seen it since 2022. Finally got to see it again on Saturday. So James Houston is back. So I think that's going to be a piece. Marcus Davenport, the anticipation of seeing what Marcus Davenport can do for this offense or this defense. Like all of that now encompassed. We get to see it all. And if these guys stay healthy, it could be a scary defensive line. It could. Don't forget, like I think PFF have ranked this Detroit Lions defensive line like 5th or 6th in the entire NFL out of all D lines, and that was with Marcus Davenport, DJ Reader, Aleem, Aiden Hutchinson, James Houston. They didn't even. I don't even think they mentioned Levi Onwuzurike or Josh Pascal, Makai Wingo, Broderick Martin, who in 4 weeks will be back from the IR. Like this team. This D line might be a little better built than we actually expected and anticipated. Another thing here I want to share, and then this is what we'll close it on. These last few things, obviously on Sunday Night Football. I don't think I mentioned it. 3.5-point favorites over the Rams. The Detroit Lions are. Another thing that Dan Campbell had mentioned today and was brought up was injuries. Very, very good injury report. Typically, like. And it's going to get like this throughout the season, and it's just inevitable because it's a game of football. The injury report you're going to get at, Dan's going to get asked that every week. And there's going to be names on the list, and you're going to have to sit there and just make things up in your mind like, oh, is this guy going to be back? Today's injury report for the week heading into the Sunday Night Football game, I think was positive. Obviously there's one player on that he spoke about that I don't think obviously isn't positive. We don't want anyone to be hurt, but just take a listen to this. There's one player that he spoke about specifically, and that's it. No other players, just one player. Listen to Dan Campbell about the injuries for Sunday.
Yeah, if he'd be the only one right now who's still not sure, still not sure on him. We're going to try to get him moving around a little bit today and tomorrow and see where he's at. Everybody else, we're good.
He just pick up something in the KC game?
What's that?
Did he just pick up something in the KC game?
Yeah, I mean, it's really something that's just been lingering for even before that, and so it's slow moving, that's all. It's slow healing, and take it as it comes.
All right, that's it. This has been something like last year constantly. David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta at times, James Houston all year, C.J. Garner-Johnson. Obviously, you have Emmanuel Mosley who's out, and Broderick Martin put on the IR, which I hope Broderick Martin gets back. This guy needs to be healthy. I had the take on Broderick Martin that he was going to have a big year this year. I need this man on the football field, so I can't wait to see him back. But essentially, going into Sunday, the thing that they asked him today, the only person that's kind of on the injury report is Ife Melifonwu. Maybe that's why Ife Melifonwu has been in these weird rotations, is because he's been going through some sort of injury. Who knows? Maybe that's it. But he's the only one right now that's kind of questionable for Sunday. That means Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta, Brian Branch. I'm guessing. I mean, DJ Reader's, I think, active now. I think he's off the PUP list. So DJ Reader's good for Sunday. I guess we can wait throughout the week. Don't quote me on that one, but I'm guessing we can wait throughout the week to hear more on DJ Reader. But he didn't mention DJ Reader. No Gibbs, Laporta, Branch, Who am I missing here? Am I missing anyone in my head? I know we're not live, so I can't see, but those are the main ones to me that I'm thinking about. Terrion Arnold, I'm sure. Terrion Arnold, that's one. Good. Carlton Davis, good. Rakestraw, good. He didn't mention any of those guys. Those are all guys who the last few weeks have been going through these injuries, and you're like, oh, no, what's going on? I think Craig was going through a little something. I think Craig might be good. Reynolds, that is. Kevin Zeitler is going to be good. They didn't mention him, and he was last week getting back to practice as well. So all these guys are getting back to – Detroit Lions are going to be full for Sunday. They're going to be ready to go. And Dan actually mentioned, too, they asked me, why do you only have 52 guys on the roster? Or why do you guys have an extra spot sitting there on the roster? He said, hey, we're going to be flexible this week. Every single week going into game week, we're going to make sure we have the perfect roster. So you could see an Isaac Ukwu up. You could see a few different guys up that made it the practice roster and the practice team that are going to get moved up that we might have been like, whoa, how is he up? Mitchell Agude is active for Sunday. How about that? That would be interesting to see who they end up moving up, who they end up moving down, how they go about that list there. So I'm excited to see that. That's about it, though, from Dan Campbell. We're going to be back, and I'll end it here. I don't want to just sit here and talk to myself, and there's no chat or anything. I could probably go for the next hour by myself. I don't want to bore you guys. Just wanted to get in here, kind of report some of that stuff there, what Dan Campbell said. Tomorrow, throughout this whole week, we're going to get more into our predictions for the season. We'll probably do we'll probably do like our Detroit Lions award predictions maybe tomorrow, Wednesday or Thursday, or one of these days. We'll do our NFL award predictions and lock those in. We'll do our division predictions, our Lions record prediction, and we'll get into all of that stuff. We'll get everything set in stone. I know this week we have a couple big guests. We'll announce all of them tomorrow. Obviously, the one we can announce, the Doc, John Macaroon. He will be back on Wednesday. I know last week we had him Tuesday just based off all the roster cuts. He will be back Wednesday night. I believe when we are live, after you're watching this, Tuesday, the next day, tomorrow. I do believe we have another guest. Thursday, we have a guest. I think Friday is the one that we're sitting waiting on, a pretty big one. I think it's hard with the timing of the NFL starting this week to get certain people. So hopefully we can get some more people. But guys, hey, it's game week. Detroit Lions game week. I've got my glasses ready. We've got the Kool-Aid sitting somewhere ready to go. We are ready to go from game week. We are going to be downtown this weekend. We're going to be in Ann Arbor Saturday for Michigan, Texas. We're going to be in downtown Detroit on Sunday for Detroit Lions versus Los Angeles Rams Sunday Night Football. It's going to be a big week, man. Make sure you guys hit that like, subscribe button. We're going to be doing more videos live every single weekday from 8 to 10 p.m. for the whole season. Today, we're off today. The rest of the season, we're going to be live Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 p.m., making sure that we're here for you guys for all the news. We're going to be breaking things down, talking about the game, all of that. Sundays, we'll be live, pregame show, postgame show, watch parties, all of that. Make sure you guys tell a friend about the show, buy some merch, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.